Hi, my name is Sonia Frausto. I am a student at HCU taking Counseling 6310, and this is journal number 3. I will be interviewing Alex Valdez, which is not his real name. We will protect his anonymity, and he is 50 years old, and he is a family member to myself, the interviewer. Now, the first question that I asked Alex is, does this person have a drug of choice? Does he have a drug that he prefers? And it says his answer was, out of all the drugs that I've tried, either prescribed or self-medicated or used recreationally, I would say that marijuana is my drug of choice. Or to be precise, THC, which is the active ingredient that causes the high. The second question was, if so, what makes it the preferred drug? His answers were, there are several reasons why I would choose marijuana over other substances. His first reason was that most people choose alcohol because it is legally available. And so the legality is his reason. Although the consequences of overindulgence can affect someone's life negatively in a minor way or in a very destructive manner. So even though it has its effects, his reasoning is that alcohol will have a negative effect. It can be very destructive, but yet it is legal. His second reason was, I also find there are no physical dependence caused by marijuana. For myself, the urge to ingest marijuana is akin to craving a cold soda after a hot day or a hot shower after a long day's work. And finally, he says it is mildly euphoric and it lightens the mood. Perhaps it also helps with aches and pains because he does not feel achy or in constant pain despite his age or any previous injuries. The next question was, what interaction effects has this person noticed when combining this drug or substance abuse with others? He says, some studies mention that THC enhances the effects of other drugs, be it alcohol, MDMA, or other substances. I don't feel, he says, that I get more drunk after ingesting THC or that anyone else does. It may make someone dizzy because they get a little bit lightheaded, and there will definitely be some extra euphoric feelings. But I often find that THC rounds out the rough edges of a beer buzz. But I don't usually use THC to become intoxicated. Okay. His next question was, do you have spiritual beliefs that have assisted in recovery or use? I do not equate THC use with religion or rituals. Generally, I'm not very religious, and because I find that people's intolerance of THC is based on biased information or lack of knowledge, or the demonization from religious organizations and law enforcement, that I don't believe my use of THC to be immoral. So there's basically no spirituality in there. We'll reflect on that in a bit. Okay. The next one is, are there any worries that you have about using drugs? And his answer was, the things that concern me the most about marijuana is the legal ramifications of if a person is using it somewhere that it is not legal. Because it is illegal in some places, the stigma of criminals using the drug is a concern. I believe it is more of a danger to the public to drive after drinking alcohol than it would be to inject marijuana and then drive. Not that I recommend anyone drive in an altered state, but there are many people who take prescribed medication, which may alter their reactions and still drive and make other decisions. And the next question. Are there any physical signs that are related to this drug? And if so, describe them. If the question is if you can tell if someone has used marijuana because of their physical actions, I would have to say it all depends on the amount and the potency of the THC ingested, as well as the person ingesting it. Personally, I don't feel it affects me physically, other than I may become calmer. I may become sleepy. Colors may seem more enhanced or vibrant. I may become pensive and focused. And the last question that says, do you consider yourself to be addicted to this drug? Why or why not? I don't feel I am addicted or dependent on THC. If I don't have access to it, I may crave like rich chocolate cake or a cold margarita on a hot day. Because I crave doesn't mean I need it. It is just a good memory with positive effects that definitely outweigh the negative. Okay, and on this slide, I went ahead and included a picture that compared THC to CBD, just so we have some clarification on what THC is. THC is psychoactive. It does bring on euphoric or dysphoria or anxieties in some users, to where CBD does not have any psychoactive activity. Okay, and then THC gives a person a feeling of relaxation and bliss. They are both analgesics. And THC is soporific, which means it could, depending on the dose, affect you. And then CBD, regulates sleep disorders. Okay, induces sleep, which is like, I know that I've heard and read that it's, people who have, with maybe trouble sleeping and take melatonin, have used CBD and have had good results. And then finally, THC stimulates appetite, where CBD suppresses appetite. Okay, so just so we can know a little bit of difference. And then finally, my reflection on the interview. I wrote that my take on the interview is that he considers his drug use as recreative. In no way does he find himself to consider himself an addiction. And he believes that if he doesn't have some, then it's okay. It's like a craving, like when we crave a piece of food or something, but except to him that has some rewarding feelings. But in his answers, he does not consider himself to be an addict or addicted to. He does make some interesting points about other drugs and substances and his perspectives that are potentially equal or more dangerous. Prescribed medication can sometimes have some feelings of lethargic feelings and drowsiness and so forth, but yet they are prescribed medications, and so therefore they will be the person would be taking them because they have to, which in my mind is the biggest difference there, to where it's not recreational. In other words, it's not a choice. And finally, the interviewee does not at any time see his use as a negative. I don't know that he would even consider himself a drug addict. Maybe a person who uses substances, an illegal substance, but not in any way does he say, well, I should use less, or maybe I'll have these effects, even physically. I know that, just from research and just, that smoking marijuana does give you bloodshot eyes and so forth. And I'm not going to get into the effects of negative and positive, but physically a person is able to notice when another person is on the effects of THC and marijuana. But yet he mentions that there are he says that there is not, but yet he was very descriptive in saying how he felt exactly. He felt calmer and so forth, and the vibrancy of the colors. Well, that's already changing your, visual perspective. So would you, so those are things that we could have maybe gone into, just a little bit more had this been a live interview, but anyway, so those are just some things that I wanted to bring up. And in the long run, I mean, does not sound like a person who's saying I'm going to smoke marijuana, I want to stop. No. And he doesn't in any way see that this is going to be a negative in the long run. So just a very, very interesting perspective. Okay? All right, that concludes my interview. Thank you so much.